Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this February 25th version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon. This morning, this is the first glimpse at our new set arrangement in the studio. We don't have a guest this morning, it's just Kyle and I, partially because we just kind of need to iron out the details and work this out, but we're really glad that you're here. You can find all of our content at eoa.network, eoa.network. You'll find a link tree where you can find the locations of all of our stuff. So, how are you, man?
Good.
Good?
Good.
Yeah.
It's second Monday.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Feels like a Monday, too.
And the weather is just nutso. I mean, so weird.
Yeah, it just keeps... It was like 50 yesterday, maybe even warmer, right?
Yeah.
And then it got cold.
Yeah. I heard, we tune into when I'm in the morning, I tune into the Idaho news, and it's going to be 60 degrees in the Boise area today.
Maybe it's springtime. I mean, it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's baseball season starting up.
No, and in Tanya's tulips are starting to come up, it's like,
Hopefully it doesn't...
There's more winter coming, yeah.
Yeah, which means you deal with freezing and all the crap that goes along with that. Like, I don't like it when everything blooms and then the freeze comes again.
Yeah.
It's not good for gardening or for farmers.
No. Yeah, because all of that stuff, it could be a fatality.
Yeah.
It could freeze again and it'll all go away. Yeah.
Gone
Yeah.
with the wind.
Yeah. So, yep, kind of strange.
There's a big storm in Portland I was reading on the news this morning. Like wind. Knocked down a bunch of trees. Cut out power for a lot of people. Like there's a bunch of schools that aren't at school today.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't.
it doesn't take much over there to kind of upset the apple cart.
No, they're not. They don't handle weather very well in that area.
Yeah.
No, even all the way down the I-5 corridor, like even like Dallas, Corvallis, all that area, Salem, they don't handle weather very well at all.
Yeah.
It's because people think that here's my philosophy.
Okay.
People think because if they have a 4-wheel drive truck,
Right.
that they're like safe on the ice and in the
Yeah.
snow,
Yeah.
and they forget that like just because you have 4-wheel drive, it'll help you start, but it don't help you stop really. I mean, a little bit, but not anything worth worrying about. I used to live out on a country road, out in the country, going from Dallas to the highway that takes you to Salem, and it was 45 by my house, right?
Huh.
And there was a little corner, and I can't tell you how many people I pulled out of that ditch when the weather was bad.
Just
Right at the corner of my house, yeah. Just they'd slide right off the road. Dunk, dunk.
Well, it's funny. The other day, I mentioned this the other day. You kind of forget what it takes to drive in the roads, And I got in the van the other day, and we had some fresh snow. And I was coming up to one of those stoplights, and I had too much speed. There was a car in front of me, and they were just, and I knew I was in trouble. So I started to try and go around them this way. It's like that ain't gonna work, Well, thankfully there was nobody in the other lane, so I switched lanes and I slid clear out into the intersection.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's like how many times I felt embarrassed, but it's like you just forget.
I was in my Suburban one time. We had an old like 79 Suburban, just a big old hunk of metal. You know what I mean? Like those things were tanks.
Yeah.
And I was sitting at the stoplight at Oak Street Exxon. Well, it used to be Oak Street Exxon, but right there, that light, the next light past Oak Street into town. You come down into town. The first light you hit.
Yeah.
I was sitting at that heading east or whatever. What would it be? Yeah, east. And I look in my rearview mirror, and it was slick. There was snow, ice. I look in my rearview mirror and I see this Durango coming, and I'm like, "Oh, this lady is not stopping." So I had time to actually put it in park. You know what I mean? And like brace myself. And and she hit me so hard from the back that the radio came out of the because it was an aftermarket. It wasn't the stock radio. it came out, bam. And then, so we get out, and my hitch went through her radiator.
Oh, man.
And there was coolant everywhere, just spraying out of her Durango. It was a brand new Durango.
Oh, man.
And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. It's all my fault." And she looks at me and she goes, "Do you think I could drive this? I got to get to the bank. I'm the regional director. We have a meeting." And I'm like, "Probably not." I was like, "Yeah, I wouldn't drive." And she goes, "Could you give me a ride?" And I was like, "Hop in." So I take her to the bank, drop her off. And she goes, "Go to a body shop, figure out exactly what that costs, and I'll get you taken care of fast." So I did it, and I had a check for more than what I paid for the Suburban within like 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. I can't remember her name, but it was crazy. Like, she's like, "Could you give me a ride?" I'm like, "Hop in. Let's go."
That is hilarious.
And all it did was, so those old Suburbans, they have a window in the back that you raise and lower with a key.
Yeah.
Okay, and that piece right there is extremely expensive. Well, she dented that, and it was like $20 some odd $100 worth of damage. I paid $1,500 for the
That's
Suburban.
funny.
Yeah, never got it fixed. It was just a little, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like the hitch saved everything pretty much. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And that Durango was like plastic. It just crumbled, and I was like, "Okay, we get a little more than what we've hit. We made money on this
A
transaction."
little bonus.
Yeah, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you want to do sports?
Let's do it.
All right.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. Say goodbye to discomfort with the Flex Seal Z-Cliner. The powerful lift feature provides smooth assistance when getting in and out of the chair, ideal for those with mobility challenges. Available now at Northwest Furniture and Mattress. Big red rocking chair on Elm, off Adams in LeGrand. LHS girls basketball 2025 GOL champions last night. What a game, man. What a game. It was a great game. In the first half, it was looking like nothing was going right for us. We couldn't get it figured out. Baker must have out-rebounded us by 15, 20 rebounds in this game. And somehow the girls figured out a way, clawed down, and ended up winning 48-45. It was awesome. Jimmy B's was out there serving pulled pork sandwiches. Our sponsor, Northwest Furniture and Mattress, bought dinner for all the students, all the kids that were there last night to help fundraise for Union County Sheriff Deputy Daniel Johnson. It was literally a win-win night for LeGrand. LHS Wrestling qualified 12 for the state tournament this weekend. They had the Special District 4 championships right here in LeGrand on Saturday. The district champions for LeGrand include Bregan Anderson at 120 pounds, Tommy Belding at 157 pounds, Dex Dunlop at 215 pounds, and Kenai Huff at heavyweight. Bregan Anderson and Tommy Belding were both named Most Outstanding Wrestler of the Tournament. For a full list of qualifiers, you can check out our social media on the EO Alive Network. LHS boys and girls swimming took 3rd and 6th respectively at the Oregon 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A state championships over the weekend. The Zane Ricker from LeGrand was the state champ in the 200 free and the 500 free. He was also awarded the male athlete of the meet at the 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A level. Cove's Becca Koza also brought home a couple of state championships. She won her 3rd consecutive state title in the 200 freestyle and also won the 100 freestyle for the 2nd time. For her efforts, she was named the 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A female athlete of the meet for the 2nd consecutive year. For a full list of placers, check out the post on social media. Big thank you to Jessica Baum for the pictures. I'll talk more about the state tournament schedules for LHS sports on Thursday. So tune in on Thursday and we'll talk about the schedule for wrestling. We'll talk about the schedules for basketball. EOU men's and women's basketball both took care of business at home this weekend with sweeps of Northwest and Evergreen. We're going to move into the CCC tournament right away. As a matter of fact, it starts today for the men. They go down south and play Southern in the first round tonight. If they win this game tonight, they move into the semis of the tournament. But I think if they win this game tonight, they'll also get an at-large bid for the national tournament, regardless of what happens after that. This win should solidify them as an at-large bid. The women host College of Idaho tomorrow, and if anybody knows the history with the Yotes, this game will probably be a good one. I think the women will also qualify with a win tomorrow night. Like, not guaranteed, but I think they put themselves in a really good spot for an at-large bid. EOU baseball dropped all 4 games against UBC on the road over the weekend, while EOU softball split with Benedictine Mesa in Caldwell. Haley Tyree set the career steals record over the weekend for EOU. It's pretty awesome. I mean, that, the records, especially softball, like she's been there. I think this is her 4th year there, so she did it in 4 years. Some of these kids nowadays are getting 5 years, so it makes it a little lopsided, but I think this is her 4th season. And I know she missed the season due to injury, so congratulations to Haley Tyree. EOU men's wrestling got 6th place at the CCC championships. And you might not think that's good, but it actually really is, because the CCC is loaded with talented men's wrestling teams. They have, I think, 8 teams in the top 25 or something like that, or at least receiving votes. In the process, the Mounties qualified 6 for the national tournament. Congratulations to Jack Eiler, Jackson Moreland, Kyle Knutson, Eric Karras, Nico Rodriguez, and Darian Hubery for qualifying for the national tournament. That's a big deal. Moreland, Knutson, and Rodriguez were also named all-conference for the Mounties. EOU lacrosse dropped their home opener to Puget Sound 16-11, but on the upside, the ladies scored over 10 goals for the 2nd time this season. And they hadn't ever scored 10 goals in a game before. So they're moving in a positive trend, and I like to see it. Pay attention. I'll have a couple of EOU lacrosse girls on EO Alive Sports this week with some interviews. We'll talk about nationals for EOU track and field on Thursday. This is the AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. They want to make you comfortable in your own home.
Cool. Good stuff, man.
Yeah, it was a busy weekend.
Yeah,
Another one.
So I just want to make a comment about Northwest Furniture Mattress. Tanya and I went in there the other day, just kind of looking at furniture and stuff. They have recliners now. I mean, we were looking for a recliner love seat, and but they have recliners now that have they're all electric. I mean, most of them are electric. Yeah. I mean, you can still buy them manual, but anyhow. And Sean helped us, really appreciated it. And they have recliners now that the headrest will come up. It's kind of cool.
Like to prop your head up a little?
Yeah. So that if you want to recline, but you're watching TV, you normally got to put a pillow or something.
Yeah.
I mean, now this thing will just you can.
I don't ever do that because I'll just fall straight. I can't lay back like that and watch TV because I'll just nod off. Like, it don't work for me.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
But that's cool. And it's just a push button.
Yeah, I mean, all of it, it's all, all of the controls are on the side, whether it comes up or.
It's all fancy schmancy.
Oh, man, it is. And they also have a lumbar support, So, I mean, you could, all the really fancy ones. So, yeah, it's like, oh, I need to, so, I mean, you can increase the lumbar and increase the, tip your head forward. And because it's kind of funny because, you've ever had a really good chair, and Lazy Boys.
I had a really nice Lazy Boy.
Lazy Boy, I mean, that's kind of their branding is that their chair fits your body really well.
I had a big man's Lazy Boy. It was.
Yeah. But part of it is the way that it tips your head forward. I mean, it just feels really good. And so that's kind of an improvement of, so I don't know if you've been in a new car, but now the cars have the ultimate adjustments of their seats and the lumbar and their heated.
Yeah,
and
that
the,
Wagoneer that I
Yeah.
rode in with Jerry was stupid. Like
Yeah.
it had all these buttons, and I didn't know. Like,
Yeah.
just give me a little handle, and I can slide it back and forth. I'm good. I'll roll my own window up. My first car
Right.
had vice grips to roll the window up because it didn't have a thing on it, and
Yeah.
and I just left the vice grips on there as the handle to roll
Right.
up and down the window.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I've had cars where, the window was broke. I mean, the up and down mechanism was, so then it wouldn't quite shut. So then you'd have to
Yeah, push it. Oh yeah,
you'd
yeah,
have
yeah.
to push it up.
I definitely have too.
Tape it or have some.
I would just jam it in there real hard and just hope it didn't wiggle enough to fall back down to the little, area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely had that as well, for sure, 100%. No, like only one windshield wiper. My car right now probably only has one
Yeah.
windshield wiper. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a car dude.
So
like,
I'll tell you a funny story. Yesterday, so I got some windshield wipers, ordered some. Oh, that's a whole nother story. Anyway, ordered some, got them, and they had the rubber parts of them were green, like fluorescent green. And I thought, well, that's kind of strange. Well, I put them on, and Tanya.
it was covers.
And Tanya, just like it does.
I already, yeah.
And Tanya says, "It's like," and my thought was, "It's like, well, I mean, people wear fancy colored tennis shoes, and like maybe that's a thing now, yeah, And so then yesterday on the way home, it was raining, and it was the first time that I'd tried these wipers.
Yeah.
Well, it was like they were crappy.
These things
It's like,
suck.
yeah, and that's exactly. I'm thinking like this is just you can't even make a wiper that does its basic thing,
Right.
it works, and I mean, and it would wipe. It was wiping in such a way that the thing that you're looking through was streaked, and it's like, what's the point? So anyhow, Tanya had said, are you sure, Brent, that that's how it's supposed to look? It's like, honey, yeah, I think that they just make them green that way,
Yeah.
And so finally, I pull the car off to the side. This is last night about 6:00. I'm on the way home. I'm kind of aggravated, and I get out and I look at it and I'm like, oh, well, that's funny. That's loose. And it's like,
Oh, it is a cover. That's funny.
yeah, I wonder. Yeah, so then I had to tell Tanya about that later.
They do that so they don't get folded. And
That's what I thought too. Yeah,
because
so in the packaging.
yeah, putting pressure
Yeah.
on them will bend them, and then they
Yeah.
don't do
Yeah.
what they're supposed to. I've seen it before. I've never seen green ones, but
I had neither.
I've seen clear plastic, and it's clearly shown. There's a tab that comes off the end that lets you know that
There
have
wasn't
to take
a
off.
tab on this.
Yeah,
but,
which is-
but I think it was just green. I
Yeah.
mean, and so there's like most people are going to figure out that. Yeah.
It's almost like a setup for failure. They probably have like a little camera that they're watching you. They're like, look at it, here we go.
No, it was just a funny moment because then I like pulled it off. It's like, oh, I got to tell Tanya because anyhow.
And then they worked like a charm.
Then they worked like they were supposed to.
Yeah.
But there are some things. Okay, so the little zip ties that we use we use
Like
them
plastic
all over the
zip
place.
ties
Yeah.
or the Velcro ones.
Well, the little ones that have the sharp edges, like
Yeah,
what you're
I
talking
hate
about.
those
Okay,
things.
yeah. So those zip ties, you'd be amazed at the number of times that you go to use a zip tie and it doesn't work. I mean, literally, it doesn't catch. And you look at it, it's like, make sure, well, did I put it in backwards? But I mean, they're badly made, poor manufacture. And it's like, you have one job to do. Just
Make a
one.
zip tie.
Yeah, if you're a zip tie, you just got a tie. And if you don't have the tie part of it, then, yeah, those are...
They use those for handcuffs. Ice does
Oh, yeah,
all the time, but they're way thick. I mean, they're like
yeah.
they're not like these little. But I've seen. I remember as a kid growing up, near the border down in Southern California. I lived in a apartment complex that ice came to a lot.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing a bunch of people in them when I was a young kid, like in zip tied up, like 30 or 40 people.
Yeah. I saw a social media post of a guy who, and it was like, the title was like the worst guy in history or whatever. and he had bought an ice jacket off of Amazon. It just says ice, And he said, "Yeah, I just love watching the reaction of people when I
Terrible.
watch."
Terrible.
Yeah.
They had a show. It didn't make it to TV, but I was watching this, like, the shows that didn't make it to TV.
Right.
And it was called The Amazing Racist.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
And it was a comedy,
Right.
but like they would do stuff like that. Like the guy would like he literally walks into a barber shop
Right.
in Compton in a KKK outfit. Like, how dumb do you have to be? Like,
Yeah.
are
gonna
you
get
trying to
killed
die?
right then?
Yeah, or he goes to like Home Depot and parks his truck out front
Yeah.
and says, "Hey, come on, like I got work for all you guys," and drove him straight to the IMS office.
Yeah.
And it was a TV show. It didn't make it onto TV, but
Do you know anybody? This is a kind of interesting topic. Do you know anybody who legitimately is a racist?
I know a lot of people who are legitimately racist.
I mean, like they
Yeah.
would like verbally,
Yes.
if you ask them, is like, yeah,
Yes.
is this particular race less than human?
Yes.
And
Yes.
they'd say, yeah.
Yes. 100%.
See, I don't think I do. I don't think I know anybody.
I do, for
I mean,
sure.
I mean, now, people might have that feeling
Yeah.
that they don't verbalize.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like,
I know I know a few black people that are racist too. I mean, it's not just white people. Trust me.
yeah,
My friend's uncle down in Jackson, Alabama, was racist to me when I
Yeah.
was there at the family reunion.
yeah.
Like, extremely.
Because you were white and you shouldn't be there.
Yeah, absolutely. I was the only white person in the whole place. It was really awkward. That was like on one side of town, everywhere we went, I was the
Yeah.
only white person. On the other side of town, everywhere we went, Mark was the only black person.
Huh.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, we went to a nightclub in I want to say it was like outside of Jackson.
Yeah.
And I was the only white person in there, and they were calling me Speck, Dot, all kinds of things, because like I was sticking out like all these black, and then one little white speck in there, like. And then we went into a gas station.
Is that Speck? Is that one of the?
Yeah.
Is that one of the racist names?
No, I just think it was because
Right.
I was the only
Right,
white, you know what
yeah,
I mean?
right.
And then we go into a gas station on the other side of town, and the guy working behind the counter called Mark Boy. And like, you don't call, that's like calling a black person the N-word.
Right.
And it was just like, I had never seen, where I grew up, until I was 11 in Southern California, I was a minority.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, I didn't, you know what I mean? When I moved here, I didn't even know that there weren't Mexicans and black people everywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, I didn't have any idea what racism was until I came to LeGrand,
Yeah.
for sure. Because it just doesn't happen, where I grew up, like the start of my life. But
Yeah.
but then when I went to Jackson, Alabama, I got to see the flip side of it.
Yeah.
It was like, I got to see both sides of it, actually. And it's like, people still act like this? Like it was like, I think I went there in what year is it? I think I went there in 2004 or 2003 with him. And I'm just like, wow. Like, I was dumbfounded. A cop pulled up next to me, a white cop, and I'm driving Mark's car. I was by myself. I had went to the gas station or something, and he looks in there and he goes, "I can't believe that you're listening to that N-word music, boy." And I'm like, I've never heard, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, wow, I got to get back. I got to get out of here. Like, this is weird. But the nicest people in the world, like in the South, wow. So nice. Mark's family treated me like gold. Like, other than his uncle calling me a cracker in front of everybody, but his uncle was drunk and his dad kicked him out of the family reunion for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was wild.
One thing I didn't really put together until recently, and I still don't think I really know, but that the South, how many people, some people hang on to that. I mean, in the generations of Confederacy and racism, and that's the Civil War was super complicated. But the point is that there's still some Southern people that are really pissed off about,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and I don't know that they're pissed off about I don't know. It'd be really interesting to have that conversation. I don't think they're pissed off because slavery has ended. They're pissed off because they lost the Civil War, and they lost their rights as states to be able
Which
to do
is
what
nuts. Like
Right.
that, you weren't even alive. Like,
Right,
get
right.
over yourself.
Right.
Right.
But like people who will fly a Confederate flag, put it on their truck and
Some people just do that for attention.
attention.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. To get it. Bud, we switched sides. Yeah, I know. It's weird, but it is what it is because we have to be this way because of the way the tables are in order to.
Yeah.
If we're looking at each other, if we were on the other sides, we would be looking away from each other. So it's
Yeah.
Bud says 20 years in Georgia, good both sides, but still segregation. Yeah, for sure. Same thing in Alabama. I mean, this was 20 years ago, but at least 20 years ago, it was in the 2000s, and segregation was definitely still alive, and it was weird, man. Like I'd never been. I mean, I went from Southern California, like where I was, like I said, a minority,
Right.
to La Grande, Oregon, where I had, I think, two black people in the whole school, and I didn't, maybe a couple Mexican people. So I was like, what is going on? Like, I was dumbfounded, culture shocked. And then to go there where there's about a split amount,
Right.
and to see like almost complete segregation is like crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like crazy. Like it's weird. Like why? I don't know. I guess I've just never known it.
So I have a question for you. This is a totally switch topics. What do you think of Beyonce doing the country music thing? And
I ain't got nothing against it.
I don't
Do your thing. If you can sing, sing.
Right.
I
No.
like all genres of music. Like I think a lot of people have done it. Jelly Roll was a rapper and
Right.
became a singer. And
No, it's funny because I saw a news story on it, and they're talking about, how cool it is, and black female artists being able to get into country western, and she's breaking down the walls, and I'm like, well, what about Darius Rucker? I mean, he's not female, but I mean, there's lots of black country singers that have made it.
yeah, but Darius Rucker made it be like Beyonce. He
Yeah.
was he was
Hootie and
not
the
a
Blowfish,
country.
yeah.
He was. Hootie
But
and the
clearly,
Blowfish,
country is in his blood.
Yeah, he's good at it too.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, I don't care. Like, there's a lot of people that say, oh, yeah, stick to pop. Da 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 da. It's
Yeah.
like she can do whatever she wants. Like, she's made her own career. Like, she is not only like one of the highest paid recording artists in history.
Right.
She also is self-made. Like nobody handed her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like obviously her mom is a big part of that. Like her mom was Tina Knowles, and she's had a huge career in the music industry. But Beyonce can sing.
Yeah.
Like there's no, and she's a performer, and she's good at it. It's like
I guess
let
I
her do
wonder
whatever
how
she
much,
wants.
and I don't know enough, how much of her being in country was motivated by genuine interest, and how much was motivated by money. You know what I mean? Just wanting to
I think it was I mean, she's extremely rich, and she's married to Jay-Z, who is a
Why
billionaire.
would she need money?
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's a money thing.
Yeah.
But Bud Forrest said Charlie Pride. Yeah, Charlie Pride was in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah,
Black
yeah.
country singer. I don't have any problem. I was actually listening to it today. I don't know his name, but he's really popular. He does the gosh. He has a song that's really popular, like called "Pour Me Another Drink" or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's a black country singer, and I like it. Like I like the song.
Yeah. I guess I don't, and yeah, I don't know. The news story was saying, and I'm sure that's the case. We've mentioned black male singers that have been in country,
Yeah.
but do female, an up and coming female black artist having troubles getting into country? I just don't, I can't see that being a thing. I mean, I can't see people not liking somebody because of their color.
I see it all the time. I mean, it's like, and I hate to say this, but like very conservative people don't like Beyonce as a country singer.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it like that, but I've seen it like on social media. Like, she has no business in country. You know what I mean? It's like, but who are like?
But I would.
Why is it our?
But I would say that. I would say that that has to do way less. I mean, it's not any different. You could make the same argument of Adele deciding that she's going to do a country album. There would be the same thing of like, well, that's not her genre. Why is she wandering into country?
It wouldn't be as strong.
You mean would the objection wouldn't be as much
I don't
there?
think so.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's just like like if a black rapper decided they were going to be a country singer, or if Jelly Roll decides he's going to be a country singer, the black rapper would get a lot more kickback.
Yeah.
For it, I think, just because of the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
I guess is what it would be. I think.
Yeah. Do you think that would happen the other direction?
What?
I mean, so if you have
A country singer go to rap?
no, if you had a white do white, and I mean, and you know, if you had a white artist like Justin Bieber, I don't know, and he decides to do a hardcore rap album, do you think he would get kickback?
No, not anywhere near as much as if say black rapper goes to country. No,
Yeah.
not even close. Not even close. I don't think, and I don't know why. Like, it's just, I think it's just the nature of the beast. I don't know. I don't think he would get. I mean, if he came out with a hip hop album tomorrow, he's close enough to hip hop. I don't even think anybody would bat an eye.
Yeah. So here's a funny question too. So what about like, what would have happened? I mean, can you imagine those times when if your parents had given you a black name, and you were, you know, I mean, you see that every once in a while. You'll see, I don't know, I can't even think of, because black culture has specific names. I mean, you know, you wouldn't like, I don't know, give me an example of, you would know this better than I.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Would that be a thing? Would that, because I mean, so it's just kind of like in the culture where, you know, a black family might not name their kid Frank, their boy Frank. They would name him Jamar, or, you know.
I know a few black people with names like that.
With Frank?
No. With
Jamar.
like, yeah, with like, you know, like, I guess culturally black names.
Right. So what? Yeah. So what would have your experience been had you?
And I don't think it would have been.
Would that have made any difference?
It would have when I got here, probably, but not down in California.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I don't think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see. I guess if you were named that from birth, like you.
Right.
It's just your name. Like, you know what I mean? My name is Aquarius. So what? Like, I mean, maybe you go with a nickname or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think. I mean, I just, like, me growing up for the first, like, 11, almost 12 years down there was, like, a completely different world. So I guess I'd have to look at it in from two different, like, because here, like, when I moved here, I was the only, I was start of 7th grade, okay? Mm-hmm. I was the only kid with earrings pretty much in the whole school.
Right.
And because, I hate to say it, but LeGrand's a little bit behind the times when it comes to trends.
Sure. Yeah.
And
well,
so
I think
they're just, I got made fun of for.
I think they're just generally resistant to trends.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But I got made fun of for that, and then within 2 years, everybody had, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody was wearing 2 earrings. You
Yeah.
know? Because everybody was still just wearing 1 earring. Like,
Yeah.
The left ear was the ear that you had to have, otherwise you were considered gay.
Right.
For some reason. Like, I don't know why. There's got to be some history to it, but so there were some people that had 1 earring, but no dudes wearing 2 earrings, and it was like, oh man, I walked into a bee's nest with that. I really did. I was like, I had no, I thought everybody would have.
Right.
I show up at school, I'm like, like trying to find somebody I can relate with. The only thing that really saved me is I was good at sports.
Yeah.
Seriously.
So what made you decide, when did you decide to stop wearing earrings? And why?
Oh, I want to say like 18 or 19.
Yeah.
I got one hung up and it tore a little bit,
Yeah.
and I just took them both out because I wasn't going to wear one.
Right.
And just, they're still pierced. I can still
Yeah.
push an earring through it.
Yeah.
It won't, once you have them in for long enough, it don't go away.
Right.
But I think I got my first ear pierced in 3rd grade, and the second one in 5th grade. So in 5th grade I had 2, and then all the way through. Maybe I wore them a little bit longer than that. I don't remember. I got it hung up on, like on some sort of fabric or something.
Yeah.
Just cranked it out. I had this up here pierced too.
Okay.
At one time up here, and it like formed a bump on the back of it, and like wouldn't heal good. So I pulled it out and said, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, nah. But that's the only piercings I ever had. Right here, and right here. That's it. Not getting nothing done. No. Bud says, growing up here and then going into the service, I was so shocked by cultural differences. We live in a secured area. Yeah, for sure. Buddy Holly shocked the black music. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, Bud, switch to this camera just a second. So we don't have any guests this morning, but we switched this way so that we can look. The guests where they're going to be sitting will be able to. They can look at the two of us without having to look back and forth. And so that was also kind of the purpose. That's what we're doing.
And just to change it up, something fresh, something new, something new. Get into an experimental kind of, It doesn't have to stay exactly like this if we figure out you know what I mean?
Well, we'll have to see how it goes, which, by the way, on Thursday, don't miss Thursday's show, because we're going to have Dr. Kelly Ryan and LeGrand Superintendent George Mendoza will be on the set both at the same time. And that'll be a cool show. And anyhow, I think that this set is it feels a little bit more like a living room than it does a set.
Yeah.
It's
not. And then the guest doesn't have to crank back and forth to look at one of us. Because if they're sitting in the middle, they got to go this way or that way to look at us, and it just felt awkward all the time.
Yeah. So
that game last night, though, man, that was the most people I've seen at LeGrand basketball game since the '90s.
Those were great pictures.
For reals, it was a crazy game, man. It was awesome, and Baker brought almost as many kids as we had there, and we almost packed the student section.
Wow.
And, that far basket underneath the far basket. And Baker brought almost as many.
Wow.
I mean, there was a lot of people there. And you know what's really annoying about it?
What's that?
The only thing I get annoyed with at sporting events in this town, people drop off their kids there for babysitting, I think. I really do. Yeah. I think they just leave their kids.
You're talking about
little
elementary age kids.
Yes, little
so
constantly,
running
all
under
over
the bleachers,
or at EOU at the football games on the elevator all night long. It's like, this isn't date night, mom and dad. Like, if your kids are gonna go and you're gonna drop them off, give them some direction.
Yeah,
please, because I'm sitting on the court, right? The student section's packed. We're going towards that basket, so I could sit right in the middle if I wanted to, but I don't want to hear what these kids are saying because they say some weird things. Yeah. So I'm like off to one side, sitting on the court, and I can't tell you how many times this one group of kids walked past, and it's like in 2 quarters. Yeah. Like, what are you doing? You're doing laps at a basketball game when there's all these people here? Where are your parents? Right. Why are you
But you can generally that's generally a thing, though. In any public meeting, kids will just...
It's ridiculous.
They will come and go, unless somebody says, oh, yeah, go go once, go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, whatever it is, and then
I can tell you what,
Yeah.
my kids, when they were that age,
Yeah.
we went to a lot of sports.
Yeah.
A lot.
yeah,
You'd have never caught them doing
Yeah.
that. If we were at a sporting event, they know, like, hey, you know, if you got to go to the bathroom, go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
We'll go get snacks at halftime or whatever. But your butt is in that seat, and you know what I mean. Even if you aren't going to pay attention, you're not going to run around.
Well, and you know, I mean, when my kids were little, we went to a bunch of Mariners games, and I mean, we would get seats in the nosebleed section, but you would put parents at one end.
Yeah,
And the
just
kids
let them.
Yeah,
go
and
back,
they would.
whatever,
I mean, and
yeah.
then they would do whatever they want.
That's way different than.
But they weren't.
That's way different though.
They weren't running
than
around.
a high school game
Right.
where they're right on the court.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like at EOU. It happens at EOU basketball games all the time. Kids will run across the baseline instead of going out in the hall
Yeah.
and walking. You know, they'll actually come in the wrong door to go across the baseline to get to the other side when you stay in the hall and you can come in the right door and you
Yeah.
don't have to cross the baseline where there's
Right.
only, 6 feet of room or
Right.
8 feet of room. And it's like, where are your parents? Why aren't they teaching you these kind of things? Like, I hate to say it, but there is a little bit of etiquette to being a fan. There
Well,
really is.
No, and I'm with you. So let me switch topics. I'll tell you something that aggravates. We don't do weddings like we used to, but I can't tell you. We'd be set up. We'd have a 3-camera setup for a video for a wedding or whatever, and the wedding photographer would. I mean,
Get in the way all the time.
no, well, I mean, it wasn't just that. Is that they would be in one corner. I mean, this is during the ceremony, and they would walk right in front of the entire crowd to get to the other side.
Which is crazy. They could just
Yeah,
walk
right in
around.
the middle of the ceremony. Yeah, I mean, there was and there was another time where where the photographer literally was up on the platform and she was behind. I mean, the bride and groom are taking their vows. You could see the two of them, and right behind them, you could see the photographer. I was like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me?
I've had that numerous times where
Yeah.
I'm taking pictures and like the other photographer has seen me, knows
Yeah.
where I'm at taking
Yeah.
my pictures, and we'll just walk.
Yeah.
It's usually like during an award presentation or, when people are actually like
Yeah.
set in a place, and they'll just walk right in front. And,
Yeah.
and it's like, you knew I was here taking pictures. Like,
Yeah.
what the are you doing? Like,
Yeah. No, and I guess my thing is the etiquette part of it is just like, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of work. If you want to get onto the other side, yeah, you walk to the back, you walk across, and then yeah, it's a lot of work,
but it's respectful.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, I'm with you. It just drives me crazy when to look at, that kind of stuff just drives me nuts.
Bud said the last time he was here, it was a pile of wires and equipment. Yeah. I mean, that's how we live pretty much, Bud, in a sea of wires and equipment.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff right back here that's not put away, and that's why the camera is higher than it.
But yeah, like if you're a parent and you have kids, like especially elementary school age, don't just leave them. Give them some guidance. Don't make them look like idiots because, I mean, I love kids, but at the same time, it's like they can get super annoying. You know what I mean? Like if they're not taught how to be in public. I hate to say it like that.
But it's so funny because kids can adapt. They adapt. All they just need to know is the rules.
Yeah.
But somebody's got to tell them. I mean, we had the 3 grandkids over this. They had them all most of the day on Saturday and spent the night on Saturday night. Kelsey's 3 kids loved them, and they're 9, 7, and 3, 4, So Cub Barrett is his name. We call him Cubby. Cubby, he's the youngest, and he's not. This is probably the first time that he's spent the night at Grandma and Grandpa's house overnight because he's just now potty trained and can get through the night and so on and so forth. So, but he's still learning the rules, and so it's like I mean, I would tell him something. It's like, well, hey, it's time to brush your teeth. I don't want to. It's like, This wasn't a discussion.
Yeah, this wasn't.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's like, I don't think you understand. Your opinion doesn't really matter here, you know.
Right.
And so, but he adapted very quickly. I mean, he figured out, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. When Grandpa
You don't
tells
brush the teeth, I'll pin you down and brush them
yeah,
for you.
when
It'll be fun.
yeah, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just kids will adapt, you know, and so it's kind of funny. You'll have kids that are a terror someplace else, but they go to where they know what the rules are. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that these grandkids are a terror when they're home. I'm just saying you see this all the time where kids, they just don't know the rules and they get into a different environment and they know the rules and they're really well behaved. And it's because somebody's kind of laid down the law.
I'll pass along some good knowledge to any parents listening. My mom passed this on to me, and I instilled this in my kids. Teach your kids that home is the place where you get to act like a dingleberry.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
not in public.
Right.
Public, you have, but if you have to let it out at home.
Right.
It's a much safer, better place to do it. In public, be cool.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Well, and I think that that's a really good lesson for life too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You kind of know that. Yeah. There's an appropriate time to let loose, and you learn how to read the room.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For
so,
sure.
well, hey, you want to get us out of here? I think we burned up.
Yeah, we did good.
We burned up enough
On this
time.
day, February 25th, 1836, Samuel Colt patents the first multi-shot revolving cylinder revolver, enabling the firearm to be fired multiple times without reloading. 1862 on this day. First Legal Tender Act of 1862 is passed by the U.S. Congress, authorizing the United States note, otherwise known as the greenback, into circulation. The first flat paper money that was legal tender in America. 1919 on this day. Oregon is the first state to tax gasoline, a whopping 1 cent a gallon.
And Oregon was the first
Yeah,
state?
of course. Yeah. Yeah.
1919. Okay.
1963 on this day, the Beatles released their first U.S. single, Please Please Me. 1995 on this day, Frank Sinatra performs for the final time before a live audience of 1,200 select guests in Palm Desert, California at his celebrity charity golf tournament. The number one song in America on this day in 1985, Careless Whisper by George Michael. And finally, I picked a little photography quote for the quote of the day by Steve McMurray that speaks a lot to like my style of photography. Most of my photos are grounded in people. I look for the unguarded moment, the essential soul peeking out, experience etched into a person's face. One more time. Most of my photos are grounded in people. I look for the unguarded moment, the essential soul peeking out, experience etched in a person's face.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice stuff, man. We forgot. Let's look at the weather graphic real quick before we quit. I forgot to do that. So.
Oh, we never did look at the weather, man.
No. Our weather cam is down right now. We're working on that. But 23.
It's a pretty big discrepancy. You know, like 22-degree difference.
Yeah. Yep. Warm during.
Look, it's going to get up to 55 on Friday.
Yeah.
And it's not going to rain. It's going to be
55
sunny,
Saturday,
mostly
50.
sunny. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a warm weekend.
It's time for some baseball and some softball. And the bad thing is EOU softball's on the road this weekend.
Oh man.
Down in Southern Oregon.
Yeah.
Now would be a good time to have some home games.
Yep.
Bummer.
Well, all right. That'll be good weather to look forward to.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, thank you guys, and again, don't miss the show on. Thursday, yeah. Dr. Kelly Ryan, president of EOU, and Superintendent George Mendoza from LeGrand School District will be right here in the two chairs. We'll try out the new set with the guests, see what they think. So, Thank you guys for being with us, and we'll see you soon.